Rishi Sunak has been elected unopposed as the leader of the British Conservative Party and tomorrow will be officially sworn in as Prime Minister by the King. Joining us live now is the former Special Advisor to Theresa May, Alex Dawson. Alex, thanks so much for your time this evening, your time. First of all, your thoughts on Prime Minister Rishi Sunak?
Well, I think it's a stratospheric rise to power considering the guy's first government job was about 4 years ago, very junior local government minister, but clearly did a very, very good job during the pandemic, and that has carried over into this current role. Now, what is quite interesting about it is that he ran for the leadership over the course of the summer, got beaten quite significantly by Liz Truss, but the chaos of the last few weeks has led to him now being in this position unopposed, finally got the top job, but maybe not in the circumstances that he would have liked.
Well, he said in his speech today, unite or die. Can he unite the party and can he win the next election in 2 years' time?
I think it's going to be a tremendously difficult job. If you look at his in tray, he's got to calm down all the bond markets and all the kind of all the worry that there is about the UK economy at the moment and kind of get the UK back onto a positive trajectory in terms of growth. And that's going to be a really difficult job because he's going to have to cut a lot of government spending and potentially raise taxes to deal with the deficit that's ballooned up over the course of the last few years, partly as a consequence of the pandemic, but partly as a consequence of his predecessor's last budget. So winning an election on that prospectus is going to be quite challenging, and you'll have probably quite an early taste of what those battle lines will look like when Keir Starmer questions, who's the leader of the opposition, the Labour Party, questions Rishi Sunak at Prime Minister's Questions on Wednesday afternoon, our time.
Many have criticised his speech and his performance today. They've called it robotic. Alex, do you think he needs to improve his communication skills, or do you think that will just come over time?
I think every Prime Minister learns on the job to an extent. I suspect this time last week he didn't expect himself to be Prime Minister and entering number 10. And he was actually kind of praised for the way that he communicated during COVID and during the pandemic. So he's certainly got it within him. What I think, though, is more important in terms of his communications is the signals that he sends to the markets. He is quite a reassuring figure in that respect because he just argues that we're not going to do anything crazy when it comes to the budget. We're not going to do anything sort of out there or undeliverable when it comes to the economy. And it's that message of calm, which is quite valuable after a bit of the sugar rush that we had with Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss.
And just finally here, Alex, too, I mean, Rishi Sunak, correct me if I'm wrong, but is he the richest Prime Minister that Britain's ever had? His wife is a billionaire, or her family are billionaires. So can he relate to the common folk?
I mean, we've had rich Prime Ministers before. He's certainly on a different level. I think it is going to be a challenge for him, persuading people that he knows what it feels like and he understands what it feels like to be less well off. What I think he will draw on a lot is the fact that his parents came to the UK from India when they were relatively young. They both sort of worked in the NHS as a GP and I think as a pharmacist. And he's definitely got a background and an experience of what the real world looks like, frankly, quite far apart from some other Tory MPs that we could name and point out. So it's going to be a challenge for him. It's clearly something that the opposition is going to make hay with. But, you know, British don't really care about where you're from. It's more about where you're going. And I think that's going to be the determinant of whether he wins in 2024.
OK, good one. Alex Dawson, thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you again later.